direction, and this is our Google live stream. We haven't done a live stream in a while, so we wanted to do one for you as the album is about to come out and get some of your questions. Everybody okay today? Everyone having a good time?
Feeling well now.
Lovely now. How are you now?
Not too bad at all.
Is it working?
Yeah, it's working, yeah.
Is Google back on?
Now, yeah.
There was a bit of a problem with Google, that's why it took a little bit long. There's so many of you guys that you kind of broke the system. Anyway, to help us with our questions today is a man who's a very, very good friend of ours. He's directed a lot of our videos, was producer on our movie and director on the new San Siro DVD. And he's also the executive producer of the X Factor this year. His name is Ben Winston, everybody.
Yeah,
hello. Director of the movie.
Thank you. Didn't. Thanks. So,
My hero.
Okay.
I love you.
Thanks.
Oh, you love Ben! Oh, you love Ben!
Quiet in the room, quiet. We've got a lot of... That's a hell of a welcome. Thanks, Nyla. Most of it was right. We've got loads of questions that have come in from the fans, so I'm going to get straight to it because we've only got a half hour or so.
Makeup?
No, I'm not wearing any makeup. But you guys wear a lot of makeup, don't you, Harry?
Tons, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you need to. But it's so listen. Let's start straight away with some of the questions that have come in. Obviously, it's been 4 years now that you've been in the band, which I assume is why the album's called 4, right?
Yes.
So
And it's our 4th album.
what's the difference between now and when it first started? Niall, let's start with you. What's the main comparison between then and now?
I don't know. I guess the scale of everything is a lot bigger than it was at the start.
We got a sofa instead of stairs.
Yeah, you used to do these on stairs, didn't
used to
you?
do these things
The
on
X Factor days.
Yeah, we've changed. But yeah, everything, just like the scale of everything that we do now is a lot bigger. But it's great. We kind of missed. We were talking about it recently. Like we thought we kind of missed the X Factor days. Like myself and Louis were at the X Factor the other day, and when we were down there when we performed when we were performing, and yeah, we kind of missed them days. It was good. They were good times.
Do you like going down there, Louis, because it sort of reminds you of what it was like back in the day, sort of all before it started?
Yeah, I mean, everything happened so quick, and yeah, we had a great time, but it happened. Yeah, it felt like it went so fast. So it's lovely to go down and kind of enjoy it and feel what we felt at the time, and feel the magic, obviously, of the show.
Well, you're actually on the show as well tonight. Do you get nervous when you go back there, because that's where it all started? Harry, do you feel like more nervous? Is there more expectation?
It's definitely like you feel very like nostalgic when you're walking around the halls and stuff. I think like the boys were saying, you felt under so much pressure kind of when you were there. That like when we go back now, it's fun because you feel like you can kind of enjoy the environment a bit more. It's cool.
Do you miss maybe like the simplicity of the old days, Liam? Like, is there anything that you sort of miss about sort of 4 years ago to where you are today?
Not all, and I actually think we had to work like really, really hard back in the day to get to the position we're in now, and it's quite nice when we go out on tour now. We get a few more days off here and there. It's actually kind of backwards. It's got a little bit more simple now, I guess. Is that the right thing to say?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Do you agree with that, Lou?
Yeah, I mean, it did feel like at the start, like I remember that first American promo trip was
Crazy.
Relentless. Like, yeah, I think it was like 3 weeks on the trot that we were working, I remember.
Do you remember when we were doing like 10 things at once as well? We were doing interviews and signing and something.
That's what it was all like. It was all just so manic, and it doesn't feel quite as manic as that now. It's a bit more structured, I suppose.
Are you able, Zane, to enjoy it a bit more these days, do you think? I guess because you guys have had success, does that mean you can sort of take it in a little bit more, whereas back then you were sort of striving to make it?
Yeah, I think like the lad is saying, like we have got a little bit more time to kind of take things in. Like when we go to these like amazing countries and stuff, we get to actually spend a bit of time there. We have a couple of days here and there, so it is a little bit different in terms of actually taking things in and enjoying it. So yeah.
Do you ever watch clips back of you back in the day and like see pictures and videos of yourself and sort of, Nala, you guys have sort of changed quite a bit, but I guess anybody would from the age of whatever were you, 16, 17 into 21.
Yeah, weirdly enough, the other night I was watching all our old video diaries and stuff that we did in the Extra Factor, and myself and Louis were talking about it. Yeah, it's weird watching stuff back like that.
There's some horrific outfits.
Yeah,
well, what
haircuts and outfits and everything.
Is there anything you're embarrassed of now? Your red trousers and braces? What happened to
What
them?
are you trying to say?
They were a great look. I loved the toms, the braces, the red
It was
trousers.
very loud, Ben. It was very loud, but it worked for the time. I
did.
hope. Yeah. Yeah. For our Pop Up All Night album, it worked nicely.
Yeah, I guess it
Or
would.
do you disagree, Ben?
No, I loved it.
Thank you.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I remember I turned up to something once and I was wearing toms and you literally looked at me and you went, I wore those 2 years ago and I wouldn't anymore.
Yeah. I told you, didn't I, Ben?
Yeah, you did. You cut me down.
Did you ever
to
wear
size.
them again?
I've never worn them since, Louis.
Exactly.
But I still support the cause that they support.
Yes,
which
and-
is a very good one.
Of
Do
course.
you remember? Do you remember when we had to wear them suits that were all different colours for that Nokia thing ages ago?
Oh, yes.
Mate, that was an interesting one. Yeah, we all
We
had
did it with
different. I had like
Simon
a
Harris.
purple one on, and we were all walking pretending to be on the phone.
It was for Nokia.
yeah.
Remember, like, I had massive hair then as well.
But
I had an
then,
afro.
did people tell you at the time that you were making? Obviously now it's a bit different. But did people tell you what you had to wear and what you had to do and what you had to say, or were you in control of your own decisions?
A little bit.
It was kind of a bit of both, I
It's a
suppose,
mixture.
at that stage.
Yeah.
But there was a certain element of you kind of just going with it because we were new to it. And,
Yeah, you kind of thought it looked good at that time. I think it was.
But I feel that's the
our
same for
decision to
everyone.
wear them
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Trends like. Then when you look back at it, obviously in a few years, you're like, maybe I should.
But it's
It's
all
also
worked.
a bit like it's the first time anyone's giving you clothes.
Yeah.
You don't have to like
Exactly,
go to shop
yeah.
to buy. It's
Yeah.
a bit like, oh, is that free? Yeah, I'll wear that. And it's awful, but you're like, yeah, but it's free.
Yeah.
I guess so. Has it changed then as time's gone on that you've been making more of your own decisions? I can't imagine anybody would tell you now what you wear or what you do or what you say so much.
Yeah, I think now we have so much more input on things, and you know we are massive. I always say this, but we are so lucky to have such a great team around us that it's not that big of a conversation ever. It's like, you know, everything that we want is always just on the rail in the morning. Come put it on. Even with the song choices and whatever else, we have so much more input now than we used to have. But I feel like it's just grown over the years, and it's a natural thing. Like
Yeah, we're
when
kind
we
of
started,
on
we
the
didn't.
same
Yeah,
page.
we didn't know out, so we wouldn't have bothered trying to put our oar in where it wasn't really needed. Whereas slowly but surely, when we got a little bit more, you know, conscious of what was going on around us, we just kind of got into the nitty gritty and said, we want this and that. We're divas now. Get back.
I think that kind of went across the board, though. I think that kind of changed all the way through, even from music to, you know, what shoes you were wearing. I think like when we first went into the studio to do the first album, you're so new to it. It's like your first time in a studio, and you're working with producers who've done it for years. You're like, there's no way you'd have the confidence to be like, well, I think we should do it like this, because you know that these people know better than you. And I just think, you know, as time's gone on, we feel like we've got more of a grasp of kind of who we wanted to be as a band and stuff. So I think we kind of felt like we could take a little bit more responsibility for it.
Yeah, I understand that. If you look back, and Niall, you said you've been looking back at some of your days, as the fans would call your fetus days. Would you?
He's in the know-how.
Yeah, I'm in the know.
Yeah,
sure,
I like that.
sure.
You're good at
You look at it. Is there anything that you, if you could meet yourself 4 years ago, is there a piece of advice or something that you'd say to yourself, or anything that you'd want to say to that person 4 years ago? Luke?
Just have a second glance in the mirror and, are you sure you want to wear this?
Right.
You
Is
know?
that really, is that the one thing that you would say?
No, I mean, that's just me trying to crack a joke, mate.
Oh, okay, sorry. No, it was a good joke.
Honestly, there were some bad outfits on the show, I think we'd all agree. So, I mean, it is
Dodgy
it is
haircuts as
embarrassing. And haircuts, that's it.
That
The
first
look in
haircut.
general is just, sometimes, on the X Factor days,
Right.
it's just, and also because we look so young, it's just a bit embarrassing in general.
I used to wear a pair of purple tie-dyed high-top trainers.
Super.
Yeah, mate, with the yellow sole.
Remember the one?
Yellow sole. Yeah, they did have yellow sole.
But what anything that you would have, if Zane, if you could see your sort of, how old are you now? 21. So if you could see your 16, 17-year-old self and you knew what was going to happen, is there anything that you would have, I don't know, told them or warned them or?
I think on a more serious note, I would have probably just said like to have a bit more fun and kind of try take things in, even in the early days. You know what I mean? Even though it was so crazy, like to kind of be able to go back and speak to yourself. I think that's what I'd say to myself. I think
Go for it.
Yeah, enjoy it a bit more. Take
Yeah.
everything in.
Milk it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just a bit overwhelming in the early days and everything that's going on. You're given so much advice from a lot of different people, and you know, sometimes people do get it wrong. Like, I love the guys who did it, but that first haircut I had on X Factor was dodgy as.
Right.
That was crazy.
Hey, look, again, remember the first, and I remember it was one of the first times it's happened on the show. where they have the cutscene at the start of your thing, and we had to go back the next week and redo our cutscenes because they were that bad.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh.
It was like Lego hair, wasn't it?
I'm
was
not
not
sure
good.
who I looked like on mine, but whoever it was,
It wasn't
It was
you.
very pretty.
It was not you.
Well, it worked because you're all here now. And
hey,
doing
Yeah.
okay.
When we changed them.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
When you said,
Whoa.
obviously we've spoken in the past, and there was quite a lot in the movie about how, I guess, for you when you came off X Factor, there was this, I guess, explosion on the internet really via Twitter and Facebook and all those things that sort of spread the word about you. That was a success, wasn't it? What I guess people are watching this on now, whether it be YouTube, whatever else. It was a massive part of your career, wasn't it, Noel?
Yeah, exactly. It's mainly the part of why this has happened so big. What happened on YouTube and Twitter, we were kind of going through the show, and this was all kind of starting to bubble up unannounced to ourselves. And then when we came out of the show, it just kind of exploded, and because of Twitter and Facebook, and we still use them all the time ourselves, to try and keep in touch with everyone, all of our fans. But yeah, they've done a good job, haven't they?
Is there ever a negative side to that? Because your fans are so incredible and they support you so fervently. But is there ever a time where, because sometimes it can get quite personal abuse to members of your family or friends or girlfriends or whatever else. Has there ever been a time where it's sort of gone too far, you think?
We were talking about this the other day. I think a lot of people sometimes forget when you're on your computer, and we've all been guilty of this at some point, but you forget that it's a person who's the other side of the computer, do you know what I mean? Like, we are actually people, whereas people just think they're talking to something they're never going to get through to. But, we do see a lot of things and stuff that are said about us and whatever else, and, we're conscious towards it because, we're just young lads, and obviously we're going to be a little bit self-conscious being in front of all these cameras and whatever else all the time, so, it's just one of them things. You just have to put up with it. Some people just don't. They don't actually mean what they're saying, and I don't think you're going to see it. I think it's the main thing. But
I think it's like anything, isn't it? Like Twitter, actually, for example, is a great thing.
And it's opinion.
And it's been incredible for us. And of course, there are those negative people, but you're going to find them on any form of social media or anywhere in life, really, aren't you? So it is what it is. It's actually been great for us.
So with you three, because obviously you three have got girlfriends, has it ever affected, single boys high-fiving at the end, has it affected your partners in any way, that sort of thing, or are they able to brush it off? Because I imagine it must be quite hard sometimes.
I'm quite lucky with Soph. She doesn't really pay much attention to it, and she's quite a private person anyway, so she kind of just keeps herself to herself, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's just pretty, at first I'm sure it is a little daunting, but I think we've got ourselves good girls.
Yeah, same with me as well. Like, obviously, Paz does the same job, so she kind of gets that anyway. So
Yeah, she understands it's all.
she's got thick skin.
I mean, it's important to say on the
Same
whole,
bracket.
it's incredible support you get.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
and that's the most important thing. There's this other thing that the fans really pride them on, and I've always wondered what you guys feel about it, and that is that they somehow manage to always leak everything you do. It's unbelievable. The album has sometimes been leaked, although now all links have been removed from the internet. But so don't search for them. But it's. I mean, how does that make you feel when things are leaked, Liam? What do you think? Because it's sort of flattering, but it's difficult.
It's two ways. Yeah, because obviously it's something we've worked very hard on, and everybody around us has made a huge build up for something, and then when it leaks, it's kind of a little bit anticlimactic for us. But at the same time, it's great because they love the stuff that's come out. But when you've worked so hard on something, you just want everyone to enjoy it at the same time, and when it's coming out, so you can look for the comments and stuff and see what's
especially
going
when
on.
it's so close to actually coming out.
Yeah.
Why do you find? Well, hold on. What, start with Lou. Why do you find it annoying?
Well, especially when we've got like a plan together, like we have with these tracks that we're releasing early,
And the countdown on iTunes.
like we did with Ready to Run, and we've got a kind of structure and the way we think it's going to be, received best as a fan. So when that is taken away from us, it is annoying because we put a structure in place and we wanted that to work. But it is what it is.
And it's so close to actually coming out. We could have waited another week or so, and then they would have actually had the real thing.
It's amazing that they always manage to do it, though.
Oh yeah, but most things they do are just amazing. You can't even believe that some of the things happen. There's a lot of high-tech people out there who just get it.
Go on, Harry, you're going to say something?
we're quite lucky, I think, because a lot of, when you kind of read stuff, I've been reading stuff that people have been saying about the album, and we're very lucky that our fans seem to hear it, and then when it comes out, they buy it anyway.
Yeah.
Because they want
True
to
story.
support us and stuff, and you kind of read things of people being like, well, I've heard it and now I like it, so I'm going to buy it. It's kind of like when I think it was
like a
Radiohead,
tester.
like put out their album for free, and then people just bought it if they
Still
wanted
bought
it.
Yeah.
And
Not too many bands get that
Yeah.
kind of
And
support.
also,
So,
there is a
it's good. We're
potential
lucky
fans
in
who
that
don't
sense.
listen to it. Sorry, mate.
Yeah.
They
Who
wait, yeah.
actually do wait as well. They do respect it, and they say, "I'm not going to listen to it." You know.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Better to listen to it.
And they'll have little fights. Who's listening
Oh,
to
do
it?
they? They
and
fight
who's
online.
listening to it,
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
So the other thing that I've noticed, not that I've read a huge amount of it, but there's a huge amount of fan fiction about you boys, and there's even been like books published. And have any of you ever read, Zane? Have you ever read a fan fiction about
She
you?
got a fortune.
I can't say I've ever read
You've never
it.
read the fan fiction. Louis, ever read any fan fiction?
I've come across some before on Twitter, and I think it's utterly bizarre, some of it, to be honest. I mean, some of them are like a nice like little story, but some of them go very deep and very, very weird.
Right.
Yeah.
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 It is a bit odd, some of it.
Well, it's a whole
Okay,
different.
but
it's a whole different
stream
world,
of stuff.
isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole different thing, and like you get the idea of it, of the fans being able to put themselves in like a situation with us. So like, I get that, but like you say, some of it just
Yeah.
blows your mind a bit, and some of it's just
And I've
completely
just
off the
heard
mark.
from
crazy.
you lot as well. Like it's just crazy. I would never even
Yeah.
want to read some of it. It's just
I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever read it.
You've
I
never
remember
seen any of it?
I don't really know where do you go looking for it.
I remember
Remember the first time when you saw it on the Channel 4 documentary?
I think it's some of my favourites.
Do you not remember that when you
Yeah.
saw it on
Just as it pops
that
up.
documentary on Channel 4, and I was sat with my dad and it just popped up, and I was like sat next to my dad, and it's the most awkward picture ever. I'm just looking at like,
Okay,
whoa.
we don't need to go there. But yeah, no, I know, I can remember what you were looking at.
Yeah.
I didn't think, therefore, that documentary, I didn't think reflect your fan base.
Oh,
it was
no,
just
not
a
at
real
all, no.
minority of it, because the
No.
majority
It
of your
was
fan
rubbish,
base are a
yeah.
massively brilliant support. Speaking of things that are made up, what's the oddest rumour that you've heard about yourself? That's a question that kept coming in from the fans over the last
I
few
think
days.
we've.
Is there anything you
I
can
think
remember?
we've all been dead a couple
Yeah,
of times.
that's always
Right.
weird.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
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 Well,
Anything
no,
else
we're here
apart-
now.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Anything apart from death?
I'm sure there is something, but
there's the thing is there's a lot of things, but it's just when someone asks you something you can't put your finger
Some
on.
of
I remember
them
the
are
time when
quite
you
like.
used to pretend that like Niall's profession changed every time, and like we'd see like
Yeah.
a weird.
He was a jockey for a long,
Yeah,
a
he
long
was a
time now,
jockey.
and he still is.
Yeah,
when
we've
we
seen
went to
it
a
in the
different
paper,
country,
we
we'd
did
say
it, but it
Niall
was-
had like a career
not a
before
rumour.
One Direction.
Oh, so when you went to international territories, you'd say something that was made up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Niall was
And
a
then we
jock,
used to
like,
say he
Or
was
the-
sleeping with
Sleep
someone
with
as
someone.
well.
Yeah,
Last time
no.
we were in
And
Europe,
they'd be
it was
in the
Carly Rae
paper.
Jepsen.
Oh, and last time you were in Europe, you were sleeping with Kyra.
Apparently.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
okay,
he
you
was.
weren't
That,
actually.
Yeah,
no,
we
no,
met
he
Carly
was.
Rae.
I've never met her.
He was. He was.
He was?
He did.
Yeah.
Okay.
He did.
All right, well, let's move on then from rumours. Your new album is called 4, right?
Yes.
Why that title? Let's come to you, Liam. Why 4?
Well, it's our 4th album.
Yeah,
We've been together 4 years.
you have indeed.
It just seemed fitting, and there was a joke or something that was along with another band or something someone was trying to play off, but I can't really remember what that actually was. But you actually chose the title in the end.
Yeah,
didn't
there was quite a few names being flung around.
What else could have it been? What else could
Why
it
not
have
the
been
number
called?
4 though, and actual 4? What was the decision made there?
USP.
Because I can't remember that bit. Stop it.
I'm not sure.
Right.
I think it was.
I think that's
Go on, hold
why
on,
we
Zane.
called it for,
You called it for why?
because there were
It was
no
simple.
other standout options.
Actually,
look at
that is true. There wasn't
What were
anything
the
else
other
that
names?
was shouted out, and it just let's not overthink it, and it
just
sounds
thought
cool.
four.
Yeah, 4 was.
What was second choice? Give us what second choice was.
5.
I think we thought that
3.
we thought all the previous titles as well kind of followed a pattern. It was
Yeah.
like a little thing.
Up all night
And then
to
this
make
one was a
midnight
bit
memories.
different.
Yeah,
Felt like this
stood out a
album
bit
was a bit
more.
more of a statement, so it made
Okay.
sense to have a bold.
album.
Speaking of naming things, One Direction, when you were named, I don't know, this wasn't necessarily a question that came in, but I just thought of it. What was the second choice name? Do you remember what you could have been called if not One Direction?
When it
Well, there
one
was
of
a
Liam's
few
dads,
floating
the-
around.
What else was
yeah.
there?
There was a lot.
It was one of Jeff's names. wasn't
USB.
it?
My dad was trying to come up with a name.
Go on, what was
He's
your
never
name?
lived it down. USP.
He
which-
never
USP
will.
was the name that your
unique
dad
selling
suggested.
point. Yeah, was
Unique
wow.
selling
yeah.
Unique selling point.
What else
Unique
did he
It's not
want?
one of his best.
Status
Listen, my
single.
dad is a brilliant man, and he's got
He is
a very
brilliant man.
creative
Yeah.
mind.
That's just not his finest moment. But
It wasn't, but
is
he's
a
never going to
brilliant
live it down.
Yeah, I
He's
don't
never
know, I
in the
think
USP could have worked.
Yeah.
I reckon
No.
they'll flourish one day, USP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
One day
There'll be
they
a
will
tribute
flourish.
band.
there.
There'll be a tribute band.
They'll be the
actually
biggest
called
thing
USP.
in the world.
And
Yeah.
there was
What
another
about
one.
that
There was
tribute
another
band of
one.
us? Have you
Status
seen
single
that?
was the
Status
other one.
single. Status
Status
single.
single.
Status single. Yeah.
What, status
He
single?
was trying to go off status quo or something. He said, I can't really remember what he was on about.
Status single.
But have you all seen the tribute band that goes round about us?
I've seen a few.
Which
different
one?
bits
There's
of
one.
press.
There's one that are actually massive, and people like really travel out to see them. But They don't look anything like us, so I'm not sure.
Well, there was one that we filmed in. There was
Yeah,
one
but
that we filmed-
their harmonies
No, it
were
was in
angelic.
Chile.
Chile.
In Chile, there was a look
Oh,
like that.
and
we
they were
filmed.
serious though. They were good. They were
quite good.
yeah.
We're still going to use that footage someday, but people are
we've
expecting
signed
DVDs of it. It will come out soon. But there's quite a few tribute bands. To
Yeah.
I guess it's quite a flattering thing, Louis.
Yeah.
That is actually quite hard to get your head around, really. That someone's in like a tribute band for
They
us. It's weird.
dedicate.
And they were really serious about it, those boys as well. They were into
Oh,
it.
yeah,
They
take it
like-
seriously.
Speaking about this album, what were the songs and like just being because obviously we haven't heard it yet. What was the songs that stood out that you're most proud of on the album? Zane, let's start with you. Which is your favourite?
I really like Where the Broken Hearts Go.
Me too.
Okay.
And
Me too.
like
Gnarly.
since we started like rehearsing a couple of the songs and stuff, just the way it sounds live is just amazing, and it's just really cool. It's a song that I'd be proud to hear on the radio and be like, yeah, that's, you know what I mean, that's our band that's done that.
Louis, what was your proudest moment when you were making the album? What was the thing that you went, yeah, I love this track? Or
Well, I straight away, and I think Liam's going to agree, fell in love with Fireproof, which we did release as the free
Amazing.
track, so
Fire.
people will have heard that. And that just felt cool to be involved in writing that. So.
Yeah, it was like midway through that one as well. It wasn't early doors in the sessions. But what was amazing about this album, I think, is that we were set a really, really tough challenge with it being our fourth album and the success we had off the back of the last one. We were all a little bit nervous coming into the writing of it, whereas I think the thing that we're most proud of is the fact that we stepped up to the mark and the songs just came so quick, like thick and fast. The songs, every single day there was a different song that everyone was buzzing about, and yeah, it just made it really, really difficult in the end to pick what was going to go on and off the album. And I was just saying, I've got a tattoo here of something on my arm. There's a song that didn't make the album.
What's
it's a lyric.
What's the tattoo?
Somewhere is a place that nobody knows, which is a lyric I wrote in one of the other songs. It's not even, no one's ever going to hear it.
What's the song called?
It's called Man on a Mission.
The songs that, because how many songs do you write for an album?
They go into a vault.
So how many approximately do you think you were considering between?
What, this time round?
Yeah, let's talk this time.
23 or 4, maybe?
23 or 4 and 14 make it on?
18.
18 make it on. So quite a lot, so there's only like 6
there's
or
a lot
7.
of songs
But
from back in the day.
that's why we do a bigger album, because actually we really do struggle
to pick the
to
songs.
leave them.
So
off
then
the
what
album.
happens with the songs that don't make
There's
it
an album,
on?
we should make it actually. There's an album
They-
somewhere of songs that have never gone
They
anywhere.
literally just stay.
USP's first album.
Yeah.
right.
That is when they make theirs.
But there is
They
some
say
good songs.
slang.
There is some
Yeah.
good songs that
Sometimes
we
we
didn't
keep
use.
them, and like for certain albums we might re-record like a song that we didn't get to
Yeah.
put on one of our earlier albums that we really liked. We've done that a couple of times, haven't we?
Yeah, I was in.
Yeah.
I was in
So yeah,
Norway.
we just keep the songs and kind of just hope that.
It was in Norway, apparently.
Hold on, say that again. No,
somebody
finish your point.
I was just saying we just keep them.
Keep them and save them for any day. And you were in Norway.
I was in Norway
Great,
once.
well done. So move on.
That's so funny. I was in Norway.
I was in Norway once, and I was on a bus, and I heard like a song that we'd recorded but didn't make. I think it was like our first album.
Right.
And it came on, and it was like a really obscure song, and no one on the bus knew it apart from me. So I was like on this bus, like, singing every word, and they were like, "How do you know?"
So
this?"
what? Somebody said.
Where were you on a bus?
And someone got it.
In Norway.
Oh yeah.
Party bus.
Party bus.
Party bus.
You know, it was
The party bus. We'll move on.
You weren't there.
But so, and is there arguments about?
I know I was talking
Does
about
it get difficult when you have to select which tracks go on? Zane, is there like,
can
how
do,
does it
yeah.
work with which go on and which don't?
It's kind of just a group decision.
It's a
we
vote.
sit down, we have a vote, and we decide whether or not it's a good enough song to go on the album.
Yeah, that's the one thing about
Or
One
whether
Direction.
it's right for us.
Yeah,
don't realise-
exactly. That's a big point. Sometimes
Go
the
on.
song isn't right for the album. Sorry.
I was going to say, it's one thing we didn't realise when we got this band is how many meetings you have.
Is
There's a lot of
there
meetings. There's a lot of meetings
There's
in
a lot of
Boy
meetings.
Bandville.
Yeah.
Loads of meetings.
Do you
People don't see
focus
it.
in
We turn-
those
and we go in
meetings?
suits as well.
What?
We dress up in
Just
suits.
no, just
I think
Liam
that's
turns
true.
up in a suit.
I think
It's
a
just
lot
me.
of
I like to be business
when you come to like pick the album tracks, I think usually we've been lucky that like the majority of them kind of lend themselves to being on. Like
Yeah.
what kind of single contenders, and then it ends up you're usually kind of talking about between 5 or
few,
6
yeah,
to
yeah.
kind of get on.
And we all have a similar vein of idea for what we're talking about with
Especially
the album. I
this
think.
album.
There's only ever like 1 or 2 tracks that we disagree on
Disagree,
a lot of
yeah.
the time. Whereas this, it was quite simple. There were just a couple ones that we lost along the way, which I'm quite
And
sad
obviously,
There's one
there's a lot of
that's
people,
not
when you
bad
have
as
these
well.
meetings, there's obviously a lot of people with
There's a
different
few on
opinions.
Okay.
So
Go on, Nala.
there's a lot of people with different opinions. So I found this time we had the meeting we were in LA, and we had a meeting with Simon and
Simon Graham.
and the label and management and everyone.
Yeah.
And obviously, this time around it was a lot easier to pick the songs because we all were on the same page. They all kind of stood out. And that's why we wanted to make a larger album.
Recurring question that kept coming in when we asked the questions for this interview was about Stockholm Syndrome. What's that about and what does it mean? Who should I ask that to? Harry.
Well, so it's kind of along the lines of what Stockholm Syndrome is. So
what is Stockholm Syndrome?
It's like when you develop a relationship or like feelings towards your like kidnapper is the
captor
is like the technical thing.
Okay.
So like, you know, if someone was to kidnap you in a kind of more serious context, it's like if they're doing it for a reason, you might start like feeling sorry for them, and you might like sympathise with them and stuff like that.
And how much experience have you had being kidnapped?
I mean, a couple times, to be honest.
Right.
It was written from the heart.
Does it mean something else?
Very dark.
I mean, we applied the idea to
of actually enjoying the feeling of being trapped.
Okay.
By a girl.
Do you? Well, hold on. That obviously leads to another question that isn't on the thing. So therefore, do you sometimes feel like you are trapped and can't do everything that you want to do, and is therefore what's the song about?
Well, no, not really necessarily trapped. Like sometimes we get stuck in hotel rooms and stuff, but that just comes with the territory, unfortunately. So it's just one of them things. I don't think you necessarily wrote a song around it.
This was more about like an info.
Right.
Stuff just got serious.
Okay.
Cool.
Things just got saucy from here.
Yeah, they did.
It is.
They
hot.
did. Are any of the songs about
that
anyone specifically that you could tell us?
There was a song actually about Sophia, which was, and I didn't write it. Is the weirdest thing. I wrote the melody for it, and then I left.
Niall did.
I'll explain it to you. So listen to this, right? It's songs about your.
Explain yourself.
Let me say. This is true story.
Okay, all right, hold on.
It was Illusion, right? So me and Julian were talking, and Julian had been.
Julian's one of the guys you write.
Julian's one of the guys who writes it. He
yeah.
looks like Jesus. And we wrote the songs with him, and so me and him went outside. We just finished the melody off, and then me and him needed to go outside for a chat 'cause he was feeling a bit low about something, and I just brought my situation to him of what I was saying about what happened with me. So and then after I left, he went back and then phoned me up. He was like, "Hey man, we wrote the whole song about you and Sophia and all this thing," and I was like, "Okay, cool." Wow. I hadn't heard it yet, so I was like, "This is all strange." And I was actually with Sophia at the time, but she loved it, so it was cool.
And which was the song that was about?
Illusion.
Oh, Illusion, right, you said that. Sorry, I missed it. Very good. What does it feel like when people... There's like, let's call a spade a spade. Obviously, there's Taylor Swift's written some songs about you.
Digging.
It seems like. Does that feel odd when people write songs about you, or are you okay with that?
I mean, I think like we always say, you know, when we the album that we write from personal experience. I think everyone does, so it'd be hypocritical of us to be like, oh, you can't write songs. And she's really good, so they're good songs.
Fair enough.
So I'm lucky in that sense.
Yeah, I guess so. Good answer, well handled.
Top dog.
What about your old...
Curveball Winston?
Curveball Winston. What about your... There's some tracks, and you might not want to say, but I quite want to know the answer. Are there some of your old tracks from your like first album that you really don't like now, or that you're not proud of, or that you wish it wasn't on an album? Let's just go one by one. I'm interested to know what your least favourite One Direction track of all time is. I'm going to start with you, Noel.
Oh, it's a hard one, that. Someone help me out here. Give me just throw a few names.
Should we start at the other end?
Can they be potential One Direction songs? So like didn't necessarily.
No, that totally defeats the purpose. I mean, maybe you don't have any. Maybe you love. No, you always say you're the biggest One Direction fan there is. So maybe you just love every song you've ever done.
No, that's a lie.
Because we recorded.
Let's start with you.
I don't like.
Is there one that you just don't like singing, maybe, or doesn't feel you anymore? Because your sound has changed.
Well, I think since we've grown up, there's a lot of songs from the early days that just didn't kind of like fall suit. Like I think they were right for the sound at the time, but obviously being in a band, what people don't realise is you have to sing the same songs every single day for the whole year round. So like, imagine at the same time every single day you have to listen to the same 22 songs for the whole year round and the next 4 years. You're gonna get annoyed at one of them. Do you know what I mean? And at the time they were great songs, but I think for me, I couldn't listen to What Makes You Beautiful. I love performing it because I think that's where the crowd vibe bring it to me, and I get it then. Whereas if it would come on the radio, I probably would turn it off. Sorry.
Would you?
Would you? I'd turn it up, mate.
I turn it up.
I
Windows
crank
down.
that.
All that. Woof, woof.
My mouth along.
Okay, hold on.
London, it's us.
I pretend I'm
So Louis, what about you?
So hot in there.
Well, I just seem to remember Up All Night on the tour.
Yeah.
There was like a little bit of a routine with it, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And,
Oh,
and
do you remember
that,
Na Na Na?
that put to was that well,
Stand up.
was it stand up?
That's mine.
Stand up.
I
I don't
The thing
remember
is
Stand Up.
that if you
that wasn't
if you have like
no.
the songs and you like them all, but like if you have one that isn't necessarily your favourite, you might not, you don't dislike it, it's just not your favourite, and then over 4 years you end up being like.
Well, let me ask you an easy question. What's your favourite One Direction song out of all the 4 albums you've ever done? Just one word answer. I just need a quick one answer.
As well, though.
Come on.
I'm putting it out there and saying Fireproof. Like, I think with this album we got, and it means a lot more to us when we sing.
Harry, favourite ever One Direction song?
Throw it out there.
Come on.
That's a good one.
Just come on.
10 seconds.
Like a band-aid, just.
Louis.
Just because of the vibe that we got when we were writing it, I'm going to say Midnight Memories, because that was
big time.
Midnight Memories.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
Nala.
I'm gonna say Where the Broken Hearts Go. I think it's perfect.
Song. Zaina. Can't pick them. You love them all.
I don't love them all, but like, I think it's hard
We'll come back to you. We'll come back to you.
One standout.
Anything, Howard?
I think I might go with Niall. Or best song ever. I like
Best song.
Best song ever. It's good to do live as well.
Mine is Through the Dark.
Is it? Why is that?
Oh yeah, you love.
I love Through the
Ben
Dark.
has great
Well,
lyrics.
it's the best song.
I really like
Best
Through the
song.
Dark as
What
well.
about
So you can clap to it, you've got the loud clap, that's what it is.
Anyway,
the fire and the fall?
all I'm saying is I don't always get the
about-
lyrics right, but it's a really good song.
Gotta be you.
You said, why didn't you
No, I
release
don't love Got to Be You.
something
Gotta be you. man.
Yeah, but
All right, we'll move on from
personal
One Direction.
reasons.
Yeah, that is personal
Well done,
reasons.
Tyler.
So, last few questions, because I know we haven't got long, but
Your boyfriend's back.
if you could change,
You're going to be in trouble.
if you could change one thing from the last 4 years, what would it be? I can't imagine there's a huge amount you want to change, but it's a question that we kept getting. If you could change anything from the past few years, what would it be? Hard question?
Yeah, just why would you wanna? It's been great for us, you know what I mean? It's been everything we've done is we felt like we've had a great time, and you know, there's no point thinking about.
Yeah, I think we always say about X Factor that we'd enjoy it more, but we've enjoyed so much. Like, what's you know what I mean? There's not.
You've
No
enjoyed it quite a lot.
regrets.
We've loved it. It's been great.
Another question that kept coming in, if you could relive any one moment in your life so far, you could relive one moment in the last 4 years, what would that moment be?
I'd love
You'd
to
just love to experience it again, that you sort of, it's finished and you're going, I wish I could.
I'd love to have not have been so nervous for Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
like being on, like we were all like absolutely bricking ourselves because it was just so built up, and we said that we were going to do it for months and months in advance, and then it happened, and then we were like, so.
But at the same time, it felt great.
Yeah,
as
it felt
well,
good.
Yeah.
Like,
And we
because
flew
of
up on
the
the
fact that
floor.
we were so nervous, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Do you not feel that I just had like a electricity to
Yeah,
that gig?
yeah,
That was just
definitely.
amazing, that gig.
Another question that kept coming in, Harry, what's going on with your hair? That was a consistent...
Why is
Well-
going on with your hair, Harold?
Well, it tends to grow.
Yes, it
That's
does, yeah.
what,
you just growing it long?
What hair
Not cutting it?
does. I think I'm just letting it hang out for a little bit.
hang
Let-
Zane's getting quite long as well.
Letting
It's
it
like a
go.
little
Who's longer?
Long hair brigade.
This is definitely.
Yeah, Barry's quite. You're catching up now, mate. You're not far off. Don't put yourself down.
A lot of people also talk about decisions and who makes those decisions in One Direction. That was something we touched on earlier. But I mean, these days, I guess, is it just always your call on everything from albums to what you do? Go on, Liam.
No, it's us. I'm just kidding. No, it totally is. It totally. Before we start, some strange stuff going on. I've started something. Now we're here.
Well, maybe correct that.
But yeah, no, it is totally us. Like I say, it's amazing. Like, and the thing is, these days, it's not even us trying to put our oar in everywhere. People ask us, like when we work with you on the videos, for example.
Yeah.
If we like a shot, you go, do you like that or don't you like it? You'll give us a piece of advice for something. I think we're giving a lot of advice on certain things, but ultimately, we call the shots.
Yeah, well,
Also,
it's true.
And
Like
I'd actually call the shots in total.
Ben,
Yeah.
I really like your video for Night Changes.
Thanks very much.
It's very nice.
Thank
And
you.
see
I've just shown them the video Night Changes, and I think it's quite exciting.
It's almost
It's fantastic.
good.
It's much better than the one that Gabe did. Do you know what I mean?
No, it isn't. It's as good. It's
Nearly as good as
It's very, very good. But all your videos are great, I think. But I would, because I buy it.
The ones that
Yeah, not all of them. Okay,
Gotta Be You video was
do
one of the best
you
ones
think
to
Gotta Be
me.
You, Ben?
what do I think of
What's
Gotta Be
your
You?
personal opinion on
I think it's a great job.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love it.
Well,
What's your favourite-
I'm looking for your honest opinion. Like, what do you think of the video?
You love
I've got to be you.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's
Yeah.
great. I think
Yeah.
you all look great in
Luckily,
scarves and long hats and all in different modes
He
of
loves
transport.
hats.
I think it's a good
For
thing.
all
loves
them.
crossfire.
Ben, what's your
Very
favourite One
successful.
Direction video you've ever shot?
Favourite One Direction video is Story of My Life.
Yeah.
Yeah? Because of the
Yeah.
pictures and all that.
I just thought it
Great
was
venue.
pretty
Yeah,
good.
good
Yeah.
venue.
White venue.
And then
Although I think Night Changes, people are going
Shout out
to
to
like that
I
quite a
agree.
lot because it's quite cool.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Ben and Gabe do.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a bit different for us, and we're not in the shot all together, which is
cheeky, innit?
interesting.
Good
That is
video for
interesting.
you
Bit
as
of
well.
an exclusive that
Yeah.
we never film you together at any
We're
point.
not in the video
which people
together
might
at
not
all.
like.
Can I ask one more question?
Of course you
How
can.
hard is it?
I think it was
to
more
come
the
up-
other way round, but sure you can ask.
Come on, I'm asking.
I've
We're
got
interviewing
another
you now.
question as well.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
You don't get to say
No,
it.
we just
He's calling the shots now.
Yeah, he's
I'm calling the
your
shots.
decision.
I've put my hand up and
Yeah.
I've called the shot.
Okay.
How hard is it to pick a theme for a video? Like, how does that work?
Well, sometimes it's easy and it comes to you very quickly, and other times it takes ages. So like Night Changes, within 30 seconds, I knew what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
With Still My Girl, which Ben and Gabe did, we really struggled with that a little bit, and then just thought, well, I know, let's just put it in the desert and just do loads of weird stuff. It was sort of, but they, you know, so it's sort of, it's different. But so I guess you must be quite excited about people finally hearing your album, which comes out November 17th.
Yes.
Super
We're gonna be
excited.
Next Monday.
Do you get nervous when it comes out that the people are going to like it? Do you care what like
Always
critics
so
say?
much.
Hugely.
Go on, hold on.
For me,
One sec, Louis.
Of course, you care about what critics say, but more, I like to have a look on Twitter and just search different song titles and just see what people are saying about them, because ultimately that's the thing that matters. You know, what the fans think of it. And yeah, it is cool to read a good write-up in the Independent. Of course, that's great, but actually, we're looking for recognition from the fans.
Because not all of you tweet and Instagram as much as you used to back in the day. But are you still searching it quite a lot? Do you read what they say? How much do you notice?
They call it creeping.
Creeping.
Yeah, they do.
Always
yeah,
creep. Zane, how often do you creep?
I creep quite regularly.
Creep quite regularly.
Today.
Go on, Harry.
I think the thing is, when you've been working on the album all year, it's like it's all built up to that moment when you put it out and everyone hears it. So you kind of like, you almost feel like vulnerable, because you're like, you know, you're putting kind of yourself into the album and then you're putting it out. And if, you know, if something that you've worked on for a year and everyone's like, oh, I don't like that, you're a bit like, ooh.
So I guess it is still
it's
quite
like,
nerve-wracking.
it's definitely, like excited and nervous at the same time. It's cool.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And this year we're doing the thing at Universal Studios. For
Huge Chapman.
You're doing a fan event,
Yeah,
right?
fan event. We're at Universal Studios, so we're basically shutting down the park, and it's going to be great.
Amazing.
And we get to go on loads of rides.
And you can win tickets.
Okay, well, we are
Would you want to do
out
in
of time. We are out of time,
Orlando.com?
I think we are. Okay, so a couple of things to say. The album comes out November 17th.
Monday.
And
Monday.
the DVD of the San Siro is out on the 1st of December, which is it's amazing. Now, I've been told to say that
Who directed it?
Paul Dugdale.
And yourself?
No, I produced it.
Oh.
Get it right. And the album,
I was only trying to get
where should I tell? I'll tell you over there that if you pre-order from iTunes the album, you get 5 tracks every day from tomorrow before the album's released. That sounds like a bargain. I don't know about you, but I think...
Little giveaway. It's our intro of how
It's your
we-
own leak.
Yes.
It's
yes.
your own leak. It's a
We leaked
controlled.
it.
It's a controlled leak. Now
leaked
you've
myself.
also earlier today you
I
did
have leaked.
you did a performance of Still My Girl right here, which we listened to earlier, which was brilliant. And you're going to tweet a link of that later on for everybody to
Of course we are.
have a
Enjoy.
look at.
Yes.
Which is very exciting. Boys, I've loved interviewing
Thank
you.
you.
It's been terrific.
Ben
And
Winston,
thank you for everyone. Well, more to thank everyone for their questions that they've said.
Thank you.
That's the Google. We love you, Google.
Thanks, Ryan. Very lovely.
Yeah.
Google.
I'm just delighted that Scott Mills wasn't available, and it's been great. So thanks very much. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Love you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for listening and watching.
There we go.